Welcome to the Blues Club magazine, celebrating the soul of the blues one note at a time. It's hard to believe that one word and one word only could actually alter the course and the history as we know it of the blues, and not necessarily in a good way. With a loud crash, the body of Robert Johnson, the body of Robert Leroy Johnson, fell to the floor, poisoned by a jealous husband. The year was 1938, he was only 27 years old, and he'd recorded 29 tracks. He also died with what little there was in his pockets, which is why there's 3 cemeteries that claim to host his remains. Now, his recordings met with little in the way of recognition and accolades when they first came out, but 23 years later in 1961, Columbia Records released an album called King of the Delta Blues Singers. It's probably one of the most famous Delta Blues album there is, and it has the 29 tracks he recorded before he died. John Henry Hammond Jr., an American record producer, civil rights activist, and music critic, spread the word about the album and about Robert Johnson, which in turn led to the English rock band The Cream releasing a rock version of one of the tracks. And that was in 1968, and the track was Crossroads. And the legend of Robert Johnson was born. Now the legend takes a very strange turn indeed, as rumors about Robert Johnson doing a deal with the devil in order to become that good starts to circulate. Now, when Robert Johnson first recorded his 29 tracks, no one at the time thought or mentioned that his talent was magical or devil-spawned. It was only after the release of his work, or the re-release of his work in 1961, did the myth of doing a deal with the devil get started. African folklore and spiritual traditions do not involve the Christian concept of the devil. The concept of doing a deal with the devil for your soul came solely from Germany and are called Faustian legends after the German Johann Faust and his pursuit of forbidden knowledge, including doing deals with the devil. And of course, the track Crossroads provided the perfect location for the deal to be done. There were 28 other tracks, but the one word that was chosen was, and the one track that was chosen was, Crossroads. But the reality is that Robert Johnson did what we are all being told to do these days. Take a year off and come back a new man, or in his case, a new musician. Because around 1930 to 1931, Robert Johnson disappeared for about a year and developed his remarkable abilities and style, learning from established blues guitarists such as Ike Zinnemann. So, how did the word crossroads alter the course of the blues, and not in a good way? Well, in 1986, the film Crossroads was produced. The screenwriter was John Fusco and the director was William Hill. The original score was by Ry Cooder. The story follows Eugene Lightning Boy Martone, a classical guitar prodigy who falls in love with the blues. He seeks out Willie Brown, an aging bluesman who claims to know Robert Johnson's missing 30th song. Together, they embark on a journey to Mississippi to recover the sound, culminating in a climactic guitar duel with a devilish guitarist played by Steve Vai. It was neither a commercial or critical success, though it has, over time, gained a cult following for the dueling scene featuring Steve Vai. The film was such a unique opportunity to bring the culture of the blues and the music to a much wider audience. Instead, it constructed a version of the blues that did not exist. Instead of getting to know the culture and the music, the makers of the film simply produced a musical version of The Karate Kid. The film could have been entitled The Karate Kid Learns to Play Guitar. But that's not all. It damaged and continues to damage the course and history of the blues. As to why it's important to understand the culture of the blues, I'll let Denzel Washington explain the difference between skin color and culture, as he discusses why the film Fence had to be directed by someone from an Afro-American culture.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but there are cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference. So it's the culture.
The directing could have been done by Spike Lee or Michael Schultz. Either, I believe, would have casted the main characters with African-American actors and musicians to deepen the film's exploration of blues heritage, grounding it in the authentic cultural context from which the blues emerged. A more introspective, community-focused narrative about preserving and passing on the tradition of the blues. The storyline could have been about finding the missing music of Robert Johnson, and it could still have included doing a deal with the devil. But it would have been a recording company executive playing the part of the devil, highlighting the struggles Afro-American musicians faced in getting equitable contract terms with recording companies. The film soundtrack could have been by the most prolific blues songwriter in history, the late great Willie Dixon, with more than 500 blues songs to his credit. The casting could have been so much better with someone like Lucky Peterson or Gary Clark Jr. playing the lead part. Jack Butler, the role played by Steve Vai, could have been performed by Eric Gales or Vernon Reid. Francis could have been played by Janelle Monáe. And in many ways the most important casting, that of the devil or Scratch, could have had William Dafoe or Christopher Walken. Casting a white actor as the devil would have served as a metaphor for exploitation in the blues world, mirroring the real-life dynamics where the music of African American artists were frequently co-opted and commercialized. A character like this would act as a symbol of the challenges faced by musicians navigating fame, fortune, and artistic integrity. The film also damaged the growth and direction of the blues by having a rock guitarist, albeit a damn good one, playing a bluesman and putting a rubber stamp to shredding and guitar duels. It led to the embarrassment of Gary Moore, arguably one of the best guitarists to set foot on this planet, challenging B.B. King to a duel on stage. It has also led to many guitarists around the world following the path of playing rock and calling it the blues. It led to the word crossroads and the blues becoming synonymous for all the wrong reasons, including festivals and shows. It has become a money-making industry that adds nothing to the blues or to the people and culture who created the blues. Check the lineup of the Crossroads Guitar Festivals over the years and you'll see that the people who created the blues are very much underrepresented, and includes in the 2004 festival Steve Vai and his band. The film was made in 1986. Isn't it time it was remade properly?